Babybeard! Hey, podcast kittens, it's Cathy Cat and...
Oh, Ladybeard coming to you with another ratonkulous episode of Cat with Beard! Back again today with our pro esports gamer. Those things in the wrong direction. Pro gamer, esports gamer. Wait, Mags.
Mag's fun.
That was the worst introduction in history. Just introduce yourself again in a better way than what I did it, please.
Once more with feeling. Bring it on.
So, I am Mag, an esports athlete currently living in Japan.
Is Mag derived from your surname or something? Are you
No.
like McGonagall or something like that?
No, it's from Magnet, I think, right?
It used to be Magnet.
Oh.
So my actual name is Etienne Rousseau.
Oh my goodness,
It's
really?
French. It's a really, really French name because I'm half French.
Etienne Rousseau.
Etienne Rousseau.
Oh wow.
And no, would you like the name? My origin of my name?
Yes, please.
It's not that interesting.
Oh, tell
but
us.
Go for it.
I loved FPS. I wanted something to do with a gun. So I thought, a gun magazine, and that's kind of lame.
I see.
So I was like, my nickname used to be E.T. in high school.
Oh, okay.
So Mag and E.T.
Your
Magnet.
long old fingers, that's
And then I
why.
went
I
with
see.
Magnet, and then eventually an operator came out in the game where he uses magnets. So it's hard to be like, oh, there's a magnet here. I'm like, what? You know? So I decided to go with Mag.
Right.
Right.
That's very interesting. All right, cool.
Okay, you're playing Rainbow Six. How long is a Rainbow Six match on average?
Wow. Depending on the score, if it's 7-0, it can go for either 28 minutes, or if it goes 8-7, it can go for an hour.
8-7?
So I guess so it's like tennis.
So
as in you would win
every
point by
round
point, yeah?
is about 3 to 4 minutes long.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see. You play a series of rounds, and that's a game.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Right.
Okay.
And what is it? Is it? You say it's a first-person shooter.
Yes.
Is it like PUBG, or is it like Splatoon, or what do you have to do in your shooting?
Oh, so there's attackers and defenders in this game.
Okay.
Have you played Call of Duty before?
Yeah, but I was terrible at it.
Are you familiar with Search and Destroy?
I know what those words mean.
Anyway, so the attackers have to plant a little briefcase on a bomb site in the round. If
Okay.
the defenders blow up that bomb, if the attackers blow up that bomb site, the attackers win.
I
If the defenders either kill all the attackers or defuse the bomb after the attackers have planted the bomb, then they win.
I see.
Okay.
And that's how Rainbow Six works.
And that's how the strategy also comes in. So
Yes.
it's not just bam, 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 shoot everyone in the end.
No, but the very interesting thing about Rainbow Six is no 2 rounds will ever be the same. There's wall destruction, floor destruction. You can set up these barricades everywhere. You can reinforce walls so you can't do destruction. There's so many different gadgets that it is very much the chess of FPS.
Wow. Okay.
Where you always have to be thinking of, what the enemy's doing to, counter it and then do something about it.
Wow.
Strategic thinking.
Yes.
Oh, Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? Wow,
How
my
many years are you now, as of 2022, been in the game or as being a pro gamer?
I think I'm on year number 4-ish, which is honestly, for a pro gamer, very, very long career. already.
Oh, that's long already? 4
Yes,
years?
yes.
What's the average lifespan?
I have no idea, to be honest. But I do know that, from 4 to 7 is long. Anything above that is, you're a dinosaur.
Really?
Considered
Wow.
a dinosaur in esports.
Wow, so now why is this? Is it because as you get older, your reflexes slow down or something? Or
I definitely think there is that aspect of it. But usually, the reason players get cut from teams is because they're just not good enough anymore.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of
New
people.
talent
Yeah,
comes in.
exactly. Always new young talent that are hungrier than these people. That like I mentioned before, sacrifice more. Like it's very often people will start doing more with their friends and stuff or family and stuff. Not so much family, but like girlfriends and things. And when they start putting less into the game, they start to fall behind
Their
because it
results,
is very competitive, right? And that's when you can lose your job. But usually as well, it depends on the game itself. There have been times where the game is like, we're not going to support the esport anymore, so they just can't play the game anymore.
Oh, so they did all the sacrifice and they did everything right, but if the company is not behind them anymore, then they have to go anyway.
So the company that made the game sponsors the entire competitive league, is that correct?
Yes, usually, yes.
So the league is like a huge promotion for the game,
Yes.
essentially.
Essentially, yes.
Okay, that is very interesting. And I guess, I guess, good point. The competition makes more people play the game, so
Yes,
the companies
yes,
make more. Okay,
yes.
all right, look at this, big business.
So
Wow.
if you're already on your way towards becoming a dinosaur,
Yes.
with like, is it okay to say your age?
A cute one, a
I'm
pterodactyl.
24.
24. So with 24, you are already in there for 4 years, meaning
Yes.
you've been playing it from 20, right? Did I
The
count
20 plus 4 is 24.
Oh, okay.
that? Yes.
No,
Wait.
no, it's not. What is
Wait, say that. Wait, what? I didn't get. Where did the 20 come from?
So you started becoming a professional player
Yes.
when you were 20.
Oh, yes. Now I get what you mean. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
now we get there.
Yes.
So
Okay, I
you're
got that.
24,
awesome.
which means at 27 you'll already be a dinosaur.
Yes.
So what if you hopefully you'll be able to do it as long as you want to do it, but what about retirement? Do you have retirement plans at like 26, 27, 28, whatever before your 30s?
That is a good question. There are still right now players that are 27 that are still competing in these FPSs, and they're still dominating the younglings, should I say? But usually for pro gamers, the usual retirement routes are either influencers, do streaming and whatnot. They either do coaching, or they simply, join esports organizations in management or things like that, even casting. So, yes.
I have a question. So esports, does it provide you with any transferable skills to other industries or professions? For instance, if you've been doing your first-person shooters, does that transfer to anything like the military, drone control, or anything like that?
No.
Yeah. All right, very good. Fair enough.
Good
No.
answer.
I think that's the tough
Honest.
thing about esports is that the only real pathway you have outside of esports is esports.
Really? But does the military not recruit from esports? Because
I-
there's so much like drone warfare and whatnot now.
Maybe. I've got no idea. I'm not a military expert, unfortunately.
You go to the military, you've already got the gymnastics, you've got to do backflips and things. Now you can also control drones and what have you. You'd be great in the army. Army! Be more! That's not the Aussie
we're
Army
not-
one.
we're
What's the
not-
Aussie Army one?
I
I can't remember.
have no
I can't remember. What's the
idea.
Aussie? I can't remember the Aussie Army logo. What is it?
I don't know, man.
Marines, the few, the proud. That's not Aussie. I'm just making things up. What's the German military?
right.
What's the German army logo? Jawohl!
No, we don't
Mit
really have
uns!
an army. We have the Bundeswehr.
Like, what's
but
that-
that's
what's-
completely going off the topic.
I liked
Bringing
it.
us
Okay.
back to, I'm sorry, bringing us back to. So retirement is generally in the esports industry.
Yes, yes.
So what would your plan be? Do you have a plan, or are you not thinking of that yet?
I'm not thinking of that yet, to be honest. I don't think that far ahead yet. Of course, I should be. And it's definitely in my mind that even when you are being a professional, you really have to be doing things proactively, like streaming and whatnot, to set up for the future. But sometimes it is just too much. And a very common thing in esports is burnout. So at the moment, I don't really have the energy or time to be streaming myself. I'd love to do more, hopefully in the off season. But yeah, no, I don't think too far ahead.
Is the health of your eyes affected by the constant screen exposure?
I think so. I think it's always good to have breaks from a screen, like any other sort of office job. I did go to an eye expert once, and they said it's like any other sort of office job where because you're always focusing on something close to you, your long range vision is always gonna get a bit worse. But it's nothing to be too worried about as long as you have your breaks from the screen sometimes and eye drops as well help, like lubricating eye drops. Keep your eyes nice and healthy.
So, if there were any young podcast listeners out there who are listening to this thinking to themselves, it's my dream to be a professional, a pro gamer, a pro esports player, what advice would you have for them?
What advice would I have for them? I think they should really try and be aware of who they play with, right?
Okay.
You have to surround yourself with people that are just as motivated as you, just as hungry to win, and people you get along with too.
Okay.
Apart from that, I think a big thing that helped me in my early career was a sort of win or learn mentality, where if you're winning, then it's all well and good, but if you're losing, instead of being trying to blame other people for mistakes or sort of arguing over these things that don't really have anything to do with constructive feedback. you're not going to get anywhere. So it's about finding, constructive ways to learn from, these losses to then be able to improve and get better. I think also listen to the experience from these experienced players. They've played in these matches. They've experienced the losses for you to be able to get this, to help these younger players with experience, without experience, and really sort of guide them, should I say?
So you can learn from another
Yes,
person's mistakes.
exactly.
Yeah. You sound like a professional leadership coach.
Yeah, definitely.
You're like an esports Tony Robbins.
Well, he said he's the leader of his team, right?
Oh, maybe
yes,
so.
that,
Team,
yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Yes,
tell us
that
about
really
that.
suits you.
Yeah.
So how do you become a leader?
I'm not sure it's not that I've been like, okay, I'm going to be the leader, guys. I think I've just always hated just waiting around and not, no one's doing anything. I've always just been like, okay, let's go, let's do this,
Initiative.
So I think, yeah, exactly. I think it's just always just been a part of me, should I say, leader sort of aspects, but it's definitely not as, easy and cool as people think. Like, you have to make sure that you are setting the standard for everyone else, leading by example, obviously, and sometimes, taking on the chin.
Right, really.
So, yeah.
So if there's like a loss, you sometimes take responsibility and say, yeah, I should have probably done this or that for you guys, or when do you take it on the chin?
Oh, it's maybe more like sometimes it can sort of get a bit passionate in game, where then it's at the time there's no point sort of saying anything back or continuing with whatever's going on, because sometimes there is a lot of emotion involved in the round. So I think it's best to just sort of end it there as as well as you can, and then visit it later.
Does pro gaming ever break down into physical fights like ice hockey does?
No.
Hey, there's a marketing opportunity right there. Someone with a temper should get into esports and be like smacking the other team with his keyboard and what have you. Hey, that'll get you on ESPN. That'll get you on the 9 o'clock news.
Or disqualified.
No.
I think the worst it gets is just trash talk.
Really?
So, okay, funny story. At these international competitions, in like the group stages, you will play either next to the enemy team or they're in front of you. Okay. So, you are winning these rounds and stuff. You start yelling, you trash talk them from across the room. And there have been times where the admin has been like, Mag, I need you to keep it down a bit. You're being a bit too loud.
Really?
Yeah, like nothing, really bad, but like, there's this guy called Fabian, right? He's 28, and after winning a round, I'm just telling him how old he is and how slow his reaction time is, like just things like that.
The burn.
So it really
needs
feels good if you do. Yeah.
You should just like start swearing at people in French and whatnot, because they won't be able to
I
keep
could,
up.
yeah.
should
I mean,
do
maybe
that.
not swearing,
that.
but yeah, trash talk in French, maybe.
Yeah, they'd be like the Australian on the Japanese team is suddenly an abusive Frenchman. That'd be fantastic, actually. That'll get you on ESPN. Hell yeah, what I'm talking about. So now, I guess now esports. Do you think esports is now already at the level when it can be considered a mainstream sport?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But hopefully in the near future.
Oh, okay. How
I
near?
think it's almost there. Oh, I still think a few years. I think Japan. I'm going to go ahead on one of these questions, right?
Go on.
Some people are saying Japan are falling behind.
Oh, okay, how?
I don't
Why?
think so.
Okay.
I think compared to these other sort of areas of the world, US, Korea, EU, they've been doing this esport thing for a long time, whereas Japan has only just started.
Okay.
But Japan still has, a lot of potential to grow, and even this year showed a lot of growth in Japan specifically. Like recently there was a Valorant tournament where there was 16,000 people that attended the Japanese finals.
Good.
So I think once it really hits the actual big stadiums in Japan and actually starts being broadcasted on the more mainstream things, such as maybe even television, instead of these, other websites like Twitch that are not as well known as the mainstream media, I think that's when it's really going to take off to be mainstream thing.
All right.
It seems to me... I'm sorry.
Since you mentioned Japan is falling behind and stuff, so how is you're saying it's not
Not,
falling
yes,
behind?
yes.
Who's saying they are? That's one of the things I was wondering about. But how does it actually compare to the other teams, the other countries who have been doing it for longer? For example, the British, the Australian, the Americans. How does it compare? The Japanese esports scene.
Yeah, I think Japan specifically is very interesting because these game developers actually see Japan as a very important market.
Yes.
They have a huge player base. There's huge revenue, and I saw something like compared to everywhere else in the world, an average sort of gamer in Japan will spend more on in-game items than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
That sounds about right?
Okay.
The otaku culture here is
culture,
strong.
yeah.
Otakus, yay!
So that's definitely the biggest difference compared to Australia, dead region.
Why is it so dead?
No player base, no real actual funding of any kind, no investment.
Slow internet connections.
Slow internet connection.
Slow internet. Everyone getting girlfriends, apparently.
On a side topic note, the people who do well in Australia will always go overseas to compete, and it's usually America. There's no way you can have a real esports career by staying in Australia.
But that can be said for many, many industries. There's no way you can really be a professional musician in Australia. Really an actor, really a lot of industries. Australia is a gigantic landmass with very few people. So you see, it's a different thing. Europe is the same size as Europe, but Europe has like 100 times as many people.
Yeah. So the Australian League is gone. You mentioned the American League quite a lot. How is that? Who are your biggest rivals? Which country is your biggest rival at this point in time?
Interesting. I don't think.
We have no rivals. We're dominating.
She hates the color yellow, by the way. So
Let's
if you
not
can
talk
somehow
about that
involve
anymore.
a national flag that involves yellow, she'll be
First
very
of all,
happy.
what did yellow do to you?
Oh, exactly, Cathy Cat.
Minions. That's it. Minions.
What's wrong with Bob?
I love Bob too. High five.
Anyway.
I know.
Poor Cathy.
Usually, you'll instead of like rival nations sort of thing, you'll usually have. Actually, I take it back. Japan and Korea compete against each other a lot in APAC, so it's always good to see rival between them.
Okay.
But in general, in esports, you'll either have a rival player or players, or a rival team.
Really? Okay, so it's the teams as opposed to nations.
Yes.
Are there any real surprising wild cards, like the Galapagos Islands team are really strong or something like that? Iceland is amazing.
To be honest,
in esports or something?
At the start of when we were competing, we were always the wild cards.
Okay, really?
We were, always the underdogs.
The
Literally,
Aussies or the Japanese?
the Aussies.
The Aussies, okay.
Aussies, always the underdog coming into competition.
Right.
Always beating the best teams.
Boy.
Really? Wow. Well, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
What I'm talking about, land down. under.
Yeah. So, in 2022, there was a survey that said that the majority of popular future careers for high school boys, number 2 was to become a pro gamer. I assume number 1 might have been YouTuber.
YouTube. It's in Japan, yeah?
Yeah, in Japan.
YouTuber.
Number 1 is
Japan.
YouTuber. Number 2 is pro sports gamer. Why do you think it's so popular here in Japan? You mentioned earlier that they spend a lot of money on it.
Interesting. I think it's almost like being a pop star, right? Where, first of all, video games are fun, okay? So why wouldn't you not want to do something that is fun? And second of all, there is just that sort of, how could I say? Everyone wants to be that star, that everyone looks up to. And when video games are involved, everyone wants to be a pro video gamer. I think that's just where it comes from.
Yeah, but you get like all these like, woo,
Yeah.
but you have no time for social connections.
What is the standard esports
so true.
fan like? Do people show up like spinning scarves like at the AFL and like yelling abuse?
There's definitely a wide range of fans.
Really?
Honestly, my first fan experience in Japan was really quite humbling. Because in Japan, everyone's so nervous to meet you. You go for the photos, and they're just shaking the whole time. And it's so like, oh my gosh. And it really makes me want to do my best, of course. But you do get the really passionate fans that have their jerseys and 30 things they want you to sign, and comment on every single tweet you do. Or you just have the average, person that comes and supports the team.
Has anyone got a mag tattoo?
No.
Hey!
there you go,
Hey, young
guys.
esports fans
Be
in
the
Japan!
first one.
There's an opportunity for you. Hey!
As long as... Okay, look. You do you.
Did you ever consider a career in esports?
In esports, no, I'm way too slow in my reaction speed, and I know that. I'm more of like a cozy couch Nintendo gamer. My Twitch streams are generally just like hanging out and chatting and getting cozy. It's not nothing of like full competitive. I think the most competitive I get is playing Splatoon, and that's nothing near what Mag is doing.
That's the game I brought up at the start.
Yeah,
of
so
this
I
as well,
never
right?
ever thought that I would ever go into that career and profession. I think I'm more of a joy gamer than a competitive gamer, I guess, as such.
Well, that keeps the game in gaming, doesn't it?
I mean, everyone has a different way they enjoy it. What got you into FPS in the first place? You said like it was like a way to, relieve stress, but then you kind of got very competitive. So what was your first console? What was your first game that got you into gaming?
I think my first console was a PlayStation 2.
Hey! Parappa the Rapper! All right! All day!
I don't know the rapper, whatever that was.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
But,
okay. We're both aged, I suppose. We just demonstrated that well and truly
think they ever had that
to
in
this
Germany.
24-year-old from amongst us.
No, I play like things like Crash Bandicoot,
Oh, okay, I
that's a
see.
good
Okay, cool.
classic.
Speed, things like that. But
Okay.
then when I played my first Call of Duty, I was like, that's it. I'm only playing
Okay.
FPS. And then I only played FPS,
Really?
Battlefield, Call of Duty,
Really?
anything FPS. I just love it so much.
What's so appealing about the FPS specifically?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
I don't know. It's just fun.
I like the third person when you're standing behind the character, you see.
Oh.
Because of FPS, you get this vision thing, and almost like I get so disoriented, because human eyes see like this, but the FPS you can only see like this. So I find it very disorienting.
I don't know. I think it's just it's a bit more competitive, I think.
All right, fair enough.
Whereas the third person stuff or even like driving games is not very competitive.
Just
at all.
not for you.
Really.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm curious because this is probably a thing that comes up a lot. The moment you say FPS, a lot of
Yes.
people shout, "Oh, game violence, so bad!" What is your argument against that?
It's just a game. That's about it. It's just a game.
Yeah, it literally, like, people, like, especially over the years, I think they're getting quieter now because they're realizing, but it used to be so many people shouting, "Oh God, that violence! People are gonna go out."
Mothers
Oh,
against the
violence."
video games and
Oh,
what
yeah,
have you.
all of that.
No. What do your parents think of your career?
Oh, at the start it was definitely very, are you sure? Like, make sure you're going to university and all that stuff. But once I started making money from it when I was traveling a lot, interesting question. Interesting information. In one of my, no, nothing like that. You're looking at each other like it's something huge. No. In 1 year of one of my busiest years, traveling and whatnot, I spent 21 days on a plane in a year.
Oh, wow. Cool.
21 days.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, once I was, traveling a lot, seeing like different parts of the world, playing games and all that, getting paid, that's when it went from, oh, is this all right, to I'm going to be a fan as well, and I'm going to support you, and I'm going to be #1 fan, and my mum knows like the players, the different teams.
Oh, wow,
like,
really?
But
awesome.
it's really, really nice that she does support me that much and ask all the questions. I mean, she really cares about it, and it makes me feel really good.
What a wonderful mom. Okay.
You talked about your mom,
Right.
but you're coming from a very competitive family, is what you mentioned,
Yeah.
while off camera. So you have other members in your family who are also super competitive. Does that run in your blood? What is that?
I think so. Oh, I mean, so I've got 6 siblings. So because there's so many people in the family, we always have to compete for everything. Who gets the good spot in the car, food, literally
Bunk beds.
everything. Yeah. But yeah, no, we've always also done a lot of sport and whatnot. So I think it's really just thanks to my mum that we're also, competitive and driven.
Great.
Oh, lots
Wow.
of drive. So, being here in Japan, what are your plans from now on? Like, what's going to happen from here onwards? We are now in October. So what is coming up for you? You said you're right now in a league. What else is coming up? What kind of goals or things are coming up to the end of the year or maybe next year?
So we have 4 more weeks of competition in both the Japan League and the APAC League. So for the APAC League, we are hoping to qualify for the next international major.
Cool.
And that'll happen in a couple of months. And for the Japan League, we're also wanting to qualify for a offline tournament, which is basically a tournament where the players play on a stage. There's a crowd and everything. And that'll happen in November as well. So it's basically trying to qualify for those tournaments because in esports, you always want to compete online to be able to play on stage in front of people. That's the goal.
really?
The
Yes.
goal is being in front of
Yes.
people. It's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just all online, guys.
Wow, that is.
So that's pretty much my next few months.
Playing in front of people must be so different than playing in just a room with your team, right?
Yes.
What is different?
Wow. First of all, the lights. I don't know why they're always so bright, but wow, they're always so bright.
Because people need to see you. That's why.
Yeah. It depends what stadium. Some are really big stadiums, a lot of people. Even the sound when playing. Basically, because there's a big screen that the fans are watching on, they also have really loud sounds. So shooting, a shotgun in the game, you can feel it. You can feel the vibrations from the big speakers and whatnot. Or just winning rounds and the crowd goes crazy, doing something and the crowd goes crazy. It really, 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 it can hype you up, or you can be like, oh man, the crowd's on their side, like I got to get them back, sort of thing.
Really?
But yeah, honestly, it's night and day difference from playing online in your room where it's just you. But I think that's really the dream of everyone that does play online.
Does it affect you if the audience is there? Like, does it make you a better player, or does it sometimes distract you?
I've gotten used to it for sure, but I think my mentality has just been that, I think I'm lucky to be able to sort of play with that many people watching, and I should sort of enjoy the adrenaline, I guess. Whereas people watching, they won't feel that much as what I'm feeling. But no, usually no. I've definitely gotten used to it now, and it's always just makes me even just more excited, really, to play.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Nice. Gosh, I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, I want to come to one of these esports events.
Yeah,
I wanna
how
check
do you
it
get
out.
tickets for an esports event?
Oh my goodness me, that's an interesting question.
You get them for free. You've never had to
Yeah,
buy
you
one.
don't have to buy them.
That is
How would
true.
you get tickets for friends and family who want to come see you?
That's done through like the league organizer sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
If you are a player, but usually if you do follow like certain type of game or an esport, there'll always be like social media posts where it does tell you guys tickets going to be released on this date at this time, so be ready, and that's usually how it happens.
How much is an average ticket? How much would I have to pay?
Oh my goodness me. You've said I have never had to pay for a ticket in my life, but I'd say anywhere between 50,000 yen, which is like $50.
Gomang yen? Goseng yen.
Goseng. Gomang, no, not
I was like,
Gomang.
Gomang yen?
No, $500.
What kind of games are these?
Maybe 50,
God.
maybe like $100, maybe a few hundred, depending on how good the seat is and whatnot.
Do they sell them at the convenience store and that?
That's the weird thing about Japan. They still do everything at like convenience stores and pay for all that.
But I like that. I
But
think
yes.
That's
For
like- 'cause-
our tournaments, you can get your tickets from Komini.
Okay,
you're the real. That's the real thing. Then that's not some online hocus pocus little website with
you
a
actually
with
get
a
it printed out
.au at the end.
probably at
I
the
much,
Lawson.
I much prefer the online though.
Oh, do you? Oh, fair
It's very
enough.
mendoxide to go to the Komini.
Oh, really?
Fair
I've
enough,
shown
fair
my
enough.
age again. I like talking to a human being. All right, fair enough.
Any kind of message you have to aspiring pro gamers or your fans? Or both.
I think I did a little bit similar to this in the previous episode. So what else can I say?
Do you have anything you in general would like to say to the Cat with Beard listeners? Anything you'd like the public to know? Any soapbox you want to jump onto? You have a bit of a rant while you're here?
Oh, not really, but
No?
I think if you do have an interest in watching esports and whatnot, I think my advice to you would, if you can and have the opportunity to go to one of these, offline events where there is a crowd, a stage, the teams are there, by all means go. Even overseas ones, if you can, then go, because it's just, I think playing at these big events with the fans there, the teams there, the players there, I think it's the pinnacle of sort of esports and where everyone wants to be at. And it's even really fun to meet up with your friends as well and see them in person for the first time. If you do play with them online a lot, it's always really fun. But yeah, look, No, not really. Just enjoy sports, I guess.
Joy Sports. Let's go to the next event and let's be supportive,
we
supportive
might
fan
sit
members.
in the crowd and go, woo,
Yeah.
woo,
Can we?
woo.
will we-
I'm sure I could get you guys there.
Could
Woo,
you? Can you please?
fantastic.
Will we get in trouble if we are rowdy fans? If we come with
No.
the signs and things and
You
like
could come
blow
with no, there are
horns
people that come with their signs
Really?
with their favorite players' names on it and whatnot.
Can you blow horns and things?
I
and,
don't
like-
know about that, but we get
not
the,
in
you get the
Japan,
little
right?
clappers. You get
Little
the clappers.
clappers, really?
Oh,
The-
clappers.
Can we organize a Mexican wave?
I'm sure you could organize a
Let's
Mexican
get a
wave.
Mexican
Wave.
wave at the Esports. All
Hey,
right.
let's start it now. You start it.
I-
Mixing wave.
Oh!
Hey!
Yes! This is fantastic. It ended here though. It didn't go out through the management team.
No,
Disappointing.
we're waiting for you guys. One more time. Come on, one more
Disappointing
time in
producers.
the editing
In the
office.
editing
Come on,
room.
come on.
Here we go.
Let's
See
go.
ya. No.
Hey!
Producers! Hey!
That was a lot better that time. Yeah.
That was excellent. This is
Fantastic,
fantastic.
fantastic.
Well, I reckon we probably time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Time. Is that
Mac,
the end of this
anything
podcast?
you would like to plug? People should check out.
Check
Where's
out
your
that
social
competition
media?
you've got like soon.
Oh, yeah, look, my Twitter is MagnetR6. All my other social links are there. But if you want to watch the games, you can either go to twitch.tv/Rainbow6
Okay.
or twitch.tv/Rainbow6JP, which is for the Japan League.
Okay.
All right.
Sweet as.
Fantastic. That's how we can find you. Ladybeard, how come we can find you? How can we find you?
Ladybeard _Japan on the internet. My group Babybeard _Japan on the internet. Cathy Cat.
And I am Cathy Cat. You can find me on Cathy Cat, both of the C, underbar. I know I'm using that underbar. TV. You call it underbar, right? That
Was
thing-
it underscore?
Underscore.
Yeah.
Should have said it wrong all the
Aussie,
episodes.
Aussie.
Underscore TV. Cathy Cat _ TV. On Twitter, Twitch, the Instagram,
On the
everywhere.
internet.
On the internet, on YouTube as well. And I'm also on NHK World. Have a program here about the trains of Japan on international TV. In case you have NHK World in your country, tune in on Thursday nights.
It's been a pleasure, Max. Thank you for coming on the show.
Good
My
having you
absolute
here.
pleasure to come here as well.
Good luck
mate.
with
Thanks
your
very much.
future careers.
Thank you.
This is amazing. We'll see all of you next time on Cat with Beard.
Thank
Johnny.
you.